like you to realize something quickly, something unconscious that happens all the time. How did you get here? You didn't just pop up out of nowhere. You used a car or a bus or a bike. You flew in, you came by boat, maybe not by jet ski, but it could be. Mobility is all around us, and the next session will talk about the trends and innovations in the future of mobility. For this session, I would like to welcome on stage. It's moderated by a seasoned professional when it comes to experience design and innovation. Her name is Yasmine Vanda Trofast. She's founder of her own consulting, YVT Consulting, and she drives innovation and works with prestigious clients from all over the world. And she'll be having a conversation with Dr. Martin Šoltés. He started a project in 2017 as part of his PhD and is currently the CEO of the company EVUM Motors, which tries to deal with optimizing mobility in the AV industry. He has a background in aerospace engineering, and I would like to ask for a grand hand of applause to welcome them on stage.
Thank you guys so much for the nice introduction. I'm going to start with Martin, and I'm going to start discussing the electrical vehicle revolution. What are the key factors driving growth of the EV market, and what are the challenges that need to be addressed to ensure its continued success?
So definitely one of the biggest factors, I think the most important one, is creating impact and positive impact on the environment, which you can do with an electric vehicle. Definitely there is a pressure from the political side, from the society to do so, to minimize the emissions done by mobility. And that's what we realized at EVUM, that if you are switching fleets from combustion engine vehicles to electric vehicles, it's not only about replacing vehicles, it's about having new possibilities, understanding, especially in the commercial area, how the vehicles are being used, what's being done with the vehicles, and optimizing it, through all the whole chain, optimizing according to energy efficiency and even according to the impact you can create.
Great. And what about the policymakers? What kind of support do you feel you need from the government sectors and the policymakers?
Definitely, there's definitely support. There's even a lot of pressure, especially on municipalities, on industrial clients to electrify their fleets. They need to have a kind of a part of fleets which need to be electrified on the one side. On the other side, there are some countries, especially in Europe, which provide subsidies. But I think that's not the most relevant one in our segment, where we are at EVUM Motors, which we are dealing with.
Okay, great. And just maybe giving the team a bit, or everyone here, part of the session, a bit more background of EVUM Motors would be maybe a good way to get into the second question that we're going to have lined up. And just a bit about how it started, what innovated it,
So the background is, it was actually my PhD work, which I started in 2013. And that was the point I realized, if you are dealing with mobility, especially in the small truck area, the vehicles are being used to do different things. It's not only about bringing somebody or something from point A to point B, but they are being used all the time. And that's what we realized is that especially if you have an electric vehicle or electric small truck, light vehicle, and you have a mobile power bank, which can be used, to pump up water out of something, and you can use it for charging batteries, for cutting down trees, if you want to do something in the park. So, and that was the main idea of EVUM, where we started it and built the first prototype. As of today, we are producing the vehicles on our own in Germany, near Munich, and have around about 1,000 vehicles on European roads already. Mostly in municipality areas, but now we are going more to the hotel business and more into the industrial business.
Okay, great. And what are some kind of key infrastructure investments that needs to be made to facilitate this transition that you've mentioned earlier?
I think on the passenger car part, I think it's definitely infrastructure. It's on our segment too, but from where we are coming is understanding the customers, how they are using it. And many of our customers are using the vehicle only 8 to 10 hours a day. And we really know that they are not driving more than 40, 50 kilometers a day. So for our vehicles and for the purposes which we are serving, it's really no special infrastructure, charging infrastructure needed, but according to, scale up electric mobility, investments in infrastructure need to be done, definitely.
Okay. And as a manufacturer of electric vehicles, how are you leveraging technology to improve the efficiency when it comes to performance, affordability to your clients, or to your products?
So what we see is, and that's a kind of our philosophy, is definitely user-centered design. So go to the customer, talk to him, how he's driving around, how he's using the vehicle, understanding what are his needs, what needs to be optimized, what needs to be done. That's one thing. Definitely the other things, it's all around what's happening all around in the world, and especially in the vehicle or electric vehicle business, and all the adjacent areas. And from what we see and what we are working on, the one way is what we call electric synergy, optimizing the vehicle and how the work is being done. And on the other side, optimizing how you can use the vehicle in connection with the grid, with the energy system. What we are seeing as of today, definitely, it's going in the direction of vehicle to grid, vehicle to everything. Even our vehicles from next year will be able to provide this technology where you can use the battery which is in the vehicle during the day to power some other things of the vehicle which you are already providing. And on the other side, if the vehicle is being parked in a garage or is in a depot, and you have a fleet, you can use the battery which is in the vehicles, to stabilize the grid, to push or bring energy back to the grid in some situations, and they definitely make sense according to the impact which you can have, CO2 impact, and definitely even on the economic side point of view. So that is the point which we are working on. I think that will be something which will be changing the electric vehicle business in the next 2-3 years, and it will be reshaping it.
Interesting. And that goes back to our next question from this was, how do you think this electrical vehicle or the electrical vehicle industry will impact, or how can we maximize the environmental impact through this?
So on the one side, what we see is that the vehicle business and industry is really in a kind of revolution. There are many things happening to all the bigger OEMs where they need to rethink the way how they think and how they are doing it. And we are in a kind of a niche. What we are doing as a EVUM, we are not going to the mainstream areas. We are mostly going to municipalities, to big resorts, hotels. We are going to the airports and providing a kind of niche solution for them. And that's how we can create, in our view, the biggest impact which we can do. And definitely, but there is a reshaping being done now in the industry. And what many are realizing, it's not only about the vehicle, it's about the vehicle and how it's being used and how it's being connected to the electrical grid and how to optimize it as a whole solution.
Oh, great, thank you so much. And just in terms of understanding a little bit more about your consumers and your customers and obviously identifying trends in this industry, like how do you integrate your key learnings and insights to this kind of disruptive but yet evolving industry?
Actually, what we do is talk to the customers, go there, observe how they are doing, and it's in many times it's about having the very simple things. It's not about the really very complicated technological things. About having a button there, and making some small change on the vehicle that it's being more user fitted, and that's what we are doing, and that's what the know-how of EVUM is, to do it in a small series in a very, very short time. And I think that's one of the keys which is difficult for all the big players in the automotive business. They are used to build the vehicles like they were building them 20, 30 years ago. But the world is changing. You have to adapt, you have to get faster, you get to get smarter and so on to be able to bring up innovations.
Okay. Just going back to that then, and as we continue to discuss the vehicle kind of revolution, it's important to consider the entire life cycle of these vehicles. So how can we ensure the production, supply chain, charging infrastructures associated with the EVs are sustainable, environmental friendly?
I think the most important thing is, the question is where the energy is coming from. If you know that you are getting green energy, it's, that's the one point. The second point is according to the life cycle of the vehicle and what's the break-even point for between an electric vehicle and combustion engine vehicle, because for the electric vehicle you need to produce the battery, which is in CO2 impact and environmental impact. we calculated it for our vehicles which we are providing, and we know that for a standard user it's around about after 3 years. After 3 years of usage, the break-even point according to the environmental impact is being done, and after the 3rd year, you always have a positive impact. And we are planning, or the vehicle should be used at least 10 years. So 3 years at the very beginning is a kind of for the break-even point, and then in the next 7 years, you have a positive impact on the environment using it.
Great. And so you currently said that you're in Germany, and are you going to? What's the future plan for EVUM as a company?
What we are seeing, and that's what we are realizing. As of today, we are kind of vehicle manufacturer, but what we are now becoming with our clients in Europe is becoming a solution provider. So where we are going in there, not only providing vehicles, but providing the energy infrastructure, providing work solutions for them, and definitely what we are looking at, definitely at this region, the Gulf region, and we very definitely are now with going into the projects, future projects, bigger projects where we really use our know-how, our technology which we have already today, and creating a positive impact not only in Europe.
Okay, great. And what are some of the key learnings that you have learned that you'd want to maybe share with other people in the room of your experience of kind of being part of this revolution of the electric vehicle industry?
I think it's there are many, but I think there are two very important. The one thing is just get it done, and really we got kind of fit to purpose thing. Don't try to over-engineer. Find a solution which the customer is happy with and which is really working. And the second thing is the customer has to be in the center. Try to understand him. Try to understand how he's working, how he is behaving, and try to understand, try to fix a problem which is already in there. Don't try to create some solutions for problems which are not in there, but try to fix, a challenge which he has and provide a solution for it.
Perfect, yeah. I mean, when we do experience design, because we work with projects that are going to happen in the future, we talk a lot about the future of mobility and what the future of that would look like. And so a lot of that is based around the experience and kind of creating that for the future projects. But what can governments play in promoting sustainability innovation? Like, how do you feel the governments can take more of an active role in promoting mobile solutions and innovation in this industry?
I think there are different ways. The one way would be providing a kind of subsidies, which is always a short-term point to push a new technology in. And the second thing is creating environments where innovations and especially electric vehicles can be in there. So helping build up the infrastructure, that's the one point. The second point is, from our point of view, have a kind of stricter regulations on the companies and the guys who are providing mobility. That they need to use the new technology, because the companies always try to optimize themselves from the economic impact point of view and try to use all the old stuff which they have as long as they can. And I think providing a kind of more regulation, it's definitely what we see. It's more helping the subsidies.
Okay. And what would you say, if you could, if you want to define what you'd be saying was EVUM's value proposition? What makes it different from the other kind of key players in industry market?
I think what makes us different is definitely we are not a big company. That's the one thing. So we are very flexible, and what we are doing is we are going to customers, trying to understand and then providing a quite, in a short time a solution. So we don't need 7 years to develop a vehicle. We make some changes on the modules which you already have. We can provide a solution within 6 to 12 months and deliver it to the customer. And that's our USP, and that's how we are positioned in the market.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, and what would you want to say, going to summarize some of the key points or aspects of the industry as a whole, and what would you say would be some of the kind of outlooks that you would want us as a general public to have a view of?
I think the most important outlook from my point of view is we should not only think in the vehicles, we need to think in solutions, in energy, mobility and work solutions, especially in the commercial area, because it's a different thing providing a passenger car like Tesla or the other players, which is only being used to commute and then staying in garage, and providing a work tool, which a commercial vehicle is. We call it a kind of Swiss knife of the 21st century, which can be used for so many purposes as a mobile power bank and helping people do their work and do it in a much more efficient way.
Oh, perfect. Well, I think that kind of summarizes most of the questions that we had. Was there something in particular that maybe you wanted to highlight or discuss, just based on obviously coming to the region and seeing the opportunities here, and understanding a bit more about how you wanted take EVUM further in the region?
Definitely, like what we are now working on is finding some first pilot projects in the region where we can go in there, position the vehicles, trying to understand what are the differences between our customer base now and customer base in the future, and finding solutions for it. So that would be my main interesting point, yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, then I think from our end we've finished the sessions, so we finished all the questions. So thank you so much for your time, Martin. It was really interesting.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for your time too.
Thank you very much, Yasmine and Martin, for the conversation on electrical vehicles.